Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. The attempts of the narcissist and the psychopath to depersonalize. I want to go into a little bit more depth on this topic. A viewer had inquired about that, so I want to go into a little bit more depth on how this occurs in brainwashing and gaslighting, because I think it's very important, and it's certainly one of the more devastating and hard to heal, hard to manage emotionally after dealing with these sorts of people who have really manipulated others, taken control of others, really for the sole purpose of their gaining power over you. So as we've mentioned, the narcissist and the psychopath, they have a change, basically an altering of their brain function, where they have those suppression of certain oxytocin and other sort of chemicals, if you will, in their brain that causes them to really have a deficit in the emotional connection with others. It creates sort of almost a forgetfulness with them. So if you've maybe had a fight with them, they're able to let that go very quickly and then able to get back on with you as if things never happened. So if you've noticed this in them, they lack a certain emotional awareness of others, which creates a lack of emotional connection and fluidity with others in terms of like a relationship building. In other words, they are very apt to take control of you and hurt you, and when you confront them on it, they have ways of having you really look beyond it and forgive them, and that's done in part of their manipulation and brainwashing techniques, where they're able to sort of let that go and continue to keep you addicted to them, to the positive supply source that they create in their vicious cycle of being with these manipulative people. Now, how do they depersonalize? How do they gaslight? How do they brainwash? Well, if you've ever been on the receiving end of this, you definitely know the feeling, you definitely know the experience. And if, oftentimes people who have not been through this have a difficult time kind of understanding. So it's kind of like a special club of people who have been through this sort of exploitation and brainwashing, which, good news, you can get through it. And we deal with a lot of tools on how to do this and how to heal successfully and expeditiously here in this channel. But looking more at depersonalization, how is this accomplished? How do they do this? How do they really get into a place where they can almost program us to do certain things? In fact, I've known people who have done things that were extremely out of character for them. They were commanded on a psychological way so severely that this person who is extremely healthy, does not smoke, just had this urge and this need to smoke, and like they had never smoked before, and they felt the need to basically pick up this habit. And this was an effect of mind control, manipulation, and depersonalization by someone who is highly narcissistic and psychopathic, so on the more pronounced range. Now, these people, they can have a sort of way of treating others where unsuspecting people who are being targeted are swept off their feet by the kind things that they say, by their invitations for them, sort of their love bombing. It's described in the literature as terms of a love bombing, where they are extremely excited to get to know you. They are swooning you with compliments, flattery, smiles, laughing, and then they begin to share some sort of pity moment with you where something happened. And here's the mind twist, where something devastating had happened to them, but yet they kind of share it with you with a smile. They share it with you with a sort of smirk, and they share it with you in sort of an ungenuine, unreal sort of emotional language or emotional IQ, if you will. In other words, it's like they'll share this, and I think this is often found how, a lot of psychopaths lure their victims. I think John Wayne Gacy is the more famous, where he picked up a lot of his victims, I believe, at gas stations. And he would act like he had broken his arm or couldn't, pour the gas for himself. So he kind of had this pity story, this sob story that got people, well, sure, I can pick this up for you and fill your tank. And then, one thing would lead to another, and then he'd endear this person. So generally the narcissist or the psychopath is going to have some sort of sob story where they're alluring you in. But I really feel, I really feel that in trying to analyze this, and there hasn't been quite a bit of study on this in the literature. A lot of specialty observation has not been done on this to my knowledge, but what I'm thinking is that they utilize something called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to pair up, which means create an association within their victim, within their target, a certain erroneous, meaning error, association between a story, an emotion, and another emotion. In other words, they're creating within your system, unbeknownst to you, which is called subconsciously. So we have our conscious mind, which constantly sees, hears, touches. Then we have our subconscious mind, which is below the surface, which keeps our heart beating, which keeps us breathing, which keeps our posture. I mean, these are, this is below the mind surface. This is called your subconscious. And the psychopath or narcissist, I believe, will depersonalize you by pairing certain negative emotions with a positive expression. So they'll create this confusion, or what is really termed gaslighting, which means, a sense of unreality to you, where they're kind of confusing your emotional messages, they're confusing your senses, they're confusing your biological sort of processing of this information in a sort of deep level that it becomes disorienting, manipulative, and controlling of you. So for example, depersonalizing, and see if you notice this, or if this has occurred to you, please write a comment like this has occurred to me, in the comment section. But they will be able to relate to you a certain experience, like their dog died, or their mother died, or they were divorced and they were fired from their job, something extremely tragic, I mean, very, very sad, and they'll just have kind of a blank, they'll have no emotional reaction. They won't be displaying any grief or upset over it. In fact, they'll almost have a little smile, like it was, almost a smirk, like it was kind of a positive thing. And, most people would be devastated if their dog was put to sleep, or if their mother passed. I mean, they'd have a normal grief reaction. It's like they're almost smiling while telling you this, and they then, input this into your mind, and they'll use different gestures to kind of, what's called anchoring into your physical body. And it is this anchoring, which is a way where it kind of sets up in your body, and then it creates kind of a new association, a new neurochemical association, a new neurolingual connection, and kind of a learning within within your body. So normally, if you would be feeling grief, you start to feel happy. And so they start to mix your emotions and your natural inborn emotional intelligence, so that, you're then they're kind of in control of you and your feelings, and they're able to love bomb you. But, at first had set up with getting you emotionally, tied into them because of some sob story. And so your heart is open and you're vulnerable, but then you're made open to their manipulation, and you don't realize that your guard is down, and then they're, seducing you and, getting your mind in such a way, which I don't know how they do it, but they get people to feel extremely happy, and your endorphins are going while you're around them, and then they tend to then depersonalize you with, instead of calling you by your name or your who you are, they'll only use very sort of nicknames, honey, 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 and then they'll use this honey language, and then they'll sort of regress you into a childhood state where you're no longer the accomplished adult who has, you know, functioning accomplishments, common sense, financial wherewithal, etc. They'll kind of like regress you into that situation where then they begin to further control you, and it's done in a very subtle manner. But it's depersonalizing in that it causes a severing of you from your natural identity and really what you know is good for you. So it's a horrific, horrible situation, and it's very disgusting, and you know, a lot of people fear that they'll never be able to get over it. And if that is you, if you're watching right now and you're very afraid, I have good news for you. You can pull through it. You can feel like yourself again. You can calm down. The rapid thoughts, the fear that they have implanted in you can cease, and you can begin to become more yourself again and feel relaxed and happy, and you know, and basically loving life again, which is an absolute miracle. If you've ever been on the victimized side, it's extremely frightening. It's extremely scary, and it takes, you know, some work and some knowledge, and recovery can definitely be done through some of the tools that I'm providing you here in this channel. There are a lot of blogs out there where you can, you know, discuss this with other people who have been there and work your way through utilizing these tools. So if the depersonalizing has occurred, you know, definitely, there's a bird there, or something. Definitely look through my video page here and look at some of the resources that I have previously posted, and I'll continue to go over those in more depth and detail so to become a everyday working part of your life. Healing has to be done on a consistent, daily, minute by minute, moment by moment basis. It's going to take some work, it's going to take some effort, it's going to take some desire, and it's going to take some drive and willingness on your part to let go of these hurtful people and surrender to the higher power, which is trying to restore you, whatever you want to call it, Jesus, source, you know, Christ. But there are people and resources and ways for you to heal and recover from that. And I definitely want you to pull through the other side, utilize the tools here. Surround yourself with healthy, positive people. Surround your senses with positive and healthy input. Fill that well that had been created with devastation, negativity, fear, manipulation, and control. Empty that out. Let it go. Empty that out. Rid of it. Get rid of it like the garbage that it is, like the lie that it is, and start filling yourself up with the positivity, with positive emotions, with positive affirmations, positive sense, positive feelings, positive people. Life is a wonderful place. Yes, it's hectic. Yes, it's stressful. Things happen, but there's a lot of good in life, and that's what you need to focus on a daily, moment by moment basis. In fact, and I know this video is long, but studies have been shown that even in a cubicle at your work, if you have a yellow smiley face, like those emojis with a smiley face, even posting up a simple positive smiley face in your desk is going to create a happier, positive environment for you. That simple, positive step of having a smiley face in your cubicle goes to create positive emotions and positive affect, which means positive, tone within you. It's very simple things like that, and having positive affirmations. Life is exciting. I'm excited for life. Even having that simple affirmation, handwritten, posted on your refrigerator, I'm excited for life, can jog you right back into that positive mindset and that positive track where you're focusing on the positive in life, and then better life can occur and miracles can occur and happen in your life. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support. Have a beautiful day.